straight ahead. Earlier on, sort of in the beginning, there was also a roundabout where you were about to take a gap,
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
realized um, that the vehicle was in fact
Yeah.
heading. I'm not sure whether the two are related, but perhaps maybe, your speed coming into the roundabouts is okay as well. It's not overly fast,
Okay.
but perhaps maybe if you feel like you missed it for whatever reason, they were coming too fast, or maybe what you could do is slow down a bit more into your intersections, into your roundabouts,
Okay.
and that will give you a bit more time to scan more thoroughly and identify what everybody's doing.
Right.
Because on the other hand, the first couple of roundabouts, first or second roundabout that we did, there were a couple of gaps that you could have taken,
Yes.
but you didn't.
Yeah. I think I was being overly cautious.
Yes,
Because I didn't want to. Yeah.
Yes. But perhaps also, just again the scanning, because the vehicles in front were approaching, and you were still giving way to the vehicle on the right. So the vehicle on our right would have had to give way to the vehicles coming from our front.
Yeah.
So those would have been
All
cues.
right. Yeah.
But again, I guess maybe just coming into the roundabouts a little bit slower just
Slower,
gives you
yeah.
a bit more time to scan
Okay.
and make that decision. Left turn at the end of the road. And if you can't see, you can inch forward and to the left some more, and just inch forward and then stop, and then inch forward and stop until you can see. Cool. Quick scan to the left as well if you go while you're waiting. Just want to know what's coming up ahead. Cool. And you know what the speed limit here is, Nitisha? Yeah, 80k. So it's good that you didn't take that gap that you were just about to,
Yeah.
because this is an 80k road. People are coming quite fast. But then also that when just before we came into the turn, the 80k signs were on the left and the right. So do look out for those every time that you exit a street. You're looking for those speed signs. Left turn at the roundabout. At the roundabout straight ahead. At the end of the road, right turn. Left turn into this next street. I think it's kind of like a cycle lane. I'd do a blind spot check to the left as well just before I go over. Right turn into the next street. Left turn at the end of the road here. And straight ahead. Right turn at the traffic light, stay in this lane. Just a really minor point, Nishita, but you know, I've noticed a couple of times when you've gone over the railway tracks and you've scanned, which is really good, but then you've sort of adjusted your wheel to the left a little bit, and then you've drifted over to the left. Just before your blind spot checks, try and adjust your wheel to follow the road, and then do your checks so that you don't drift. the right. So you've just gone over the line
Yeah.
there as well. Yeah.
I didn't know
right
that, yeah.
turn, right turn into the next street. Yeah, just where that U's coming out of. Did you notice that you were going
Yes,
over? Did
yeah,
you?
Yes, yeah.
What do you think you could have done
I
there
think I
to?
could have turned it more towards
Yeah.
right. I think my steering wheel was a little towards this side.
Too far left.
Yeah.
Also, to help with that, maybe you could just slow down a little bit more, accelerate to move off, and then just decelerate, and maybe even do a bit of braking.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yep. You can start to pull forward. Yep. To show that you're going to make the turn. That's it. Yeah, and then you're welcome to park up anywhere along the right-hand side. And more to the left, Nishita, if you want to try and park up into one of these spaces, just go lots left. That's it. Yep, cool. All right. To the right. Yep, that's good there. And then you're welcome to turn the ignition off. All right, how was that?
Oh, that was, I thought I didn't realize how long an hour could be.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's what happened with that roundabout. I think I got too tired and
Yes.
exhausted, and I was like, I can feel my attention drifting away.
Yeah,
so
for
that's
sure.
when I did the mistake.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good, to do it before the test, so you know how long it can be, and
Yeah.
to mentally prepare yourself as well.
Oh, absolutely. We probably went a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Like we generally be in the test, you generally be back at about the 45, 50-minute mark.
Okay.
And we've sort of come back at about the 55-minute mark.
Yeah.
So we've gone a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, you still need to be able to stay focused,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
For that entire duration, whether that's
Yeah.
55 minutes, whether it's 45 minutes. So, ideally, you are doing longer drives and
Yes,
stuff
yeah.
as part of your practice. Just towards the end there, that was a bit of a strange parking maneuver. Like you came onto this side of the road and then you kind of, is that just again because you were feeling a bit fatigued, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I was like, and obviously the nerves kick in and it tires you out faster as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't
that's
know
right.
what I'm doing. Okay, let's have a talk. Okay. So yeah, I think that's what was going inside my head.
Yeah. Do you think you were nervous throughout the entire test, or do you think it sort of was more intense in the beginning, and do you feel like it might have been more intense in the end because of that roundabout?
Yeah, it was in the beginning. It was a little bit more stressed, and then I got comfortable, and then I got exhausted, and that's when I started making the mistakes. Yeah.
Have you not done much long driving?
But usually, when I drive, it's on the motorway.
Yeah.
So because it's obviously I drove from Hamilton to Auckland, so but it's a straight road, right?
What, today?
No, like a while back.
Oh yeah.
But it's a straight road,
and
there's not looking so much blind spot checks and everything.
That's right.
You get on the lane, you stay on the lane.
Yeah. You're very right. There's not that level of complexity, right? Because you're just driving straight ahead. You're not having to worry about the hazards, the lane choices, all of that sort of stuff. Okay. Certainly. Not too bad. I think you did okay. There's a few things that sort of I've taken notes about. The blind spot checks, in some places were really, really good, in terms of the mergers, the change lanes and stuff. But then also that you've got to check your blind spot going over cycle lanes.
Yes, yeah.
Because you're changing lanes across them. And when you go over the center of the road or the center line, then indicate mirrors, blind spot.
So even in a scenario where they don't have the lane, do we just make an assumption that it's going to be on the center and then still do that? Okay.
Yes. Then you just visualize where the center is. As well as checking your blind spots moving into the flush medians from the top of the road. Or same thing with reversing, checking both your blind spots before you reverse. And we also talked about scanning into the railway tracks. like you would do for a giveaway. We also talked a little bit about lane positioning. Like I was saying, sometimes when you're turning left, you're going a bit too wide.
Yeah.
Whereas you should be more to the left and turn into the left of the lane. And then same thing when you're turning right. Like when you were turning right, a couple of times you were kind of in the center of the lane.
Yes.
Like I was saying, keep more to the right.
Okay. Yeah.
But you were kind of in the beginning. You were on the center, and then.
I think that's what happened in the road where I tried to turn right. I think it's more here rather than here. I think.
Yeah, when we turned into the multiple lanes.
That's why I went a little over.
Yeah. And it was also probably a combination of the speed and the steering.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was there was this one time that we turned right into a unmarked road.
Yeah.
And then you probably went sort of into the middle.
Yeah.
And then also that even once you've gone into the middle, then you should try and drift further to the left, right? Okay. If there's space.
And I also find myself following the car in front because they were driving in the center.
Yeah.
So I didn't notice that.
Yes.
So I was just blindly following them rather than.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Don't follow the vehicles in front because they're always doing the wrong things. And then we talked a little bit about timing for the merges, in terms of the indicator that you indicate, 3 seconds prior. Earlier the better in some way. And then we also talked about the need to indicate if you're crossing the center lane or the middle lane. Also with the accelerator, like I felt like your turning speed was quite slow.
Okay.
Like there was a lot of like acceleration off. Off. And it was just like really slow. So a little bit of practice there, I suppose, to smooth it out and to, accelerate and then maybe release and then straighten up and then accelerate off, so that you can promptly get up to this road speed. The reverse park was okay, except indicate mirrors, blind spot to pull up, check both your blind spots as you reverse, and then that first movement where you reverse, that was good, but then you kind of stopped crooked. You could have just carried on, and then you would have been, and then you would have been nice and straight, and then all you would have had to do.
Do we have to be at a certain distance from the back, or can we go as much behind as possible?
Yeah. Okay. Good question. 7 meters is what you're allowed to reverse behind the back of the car. So 2 car lengths back you can go.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So in that reverse movement, use that 7 meters.
Okay. Yeah.
Get nice and close to get parallel. What you've got to do is drive forward. But then you do have the other first movement, second movement, third movement, fourth movement, and you do have 2 minutes, so take your time.
Okay.
The dead end was good. I liked that you indicated, checked your mirrors, checked your blind spot as you worked your way around. The 3-point turn was good too, except check both your blind spots before you reverse.
Yeah.
Cool. The U-turn was good. The flush median, the first time, you didn't check your blind spot, and you probably moved in a little bit earlier unnecessarily.
Right. Okay.
So remember that 50 meters is the maximum that you can move into the flush median before your turn, but you probably also want to delay that if it's quiet.
Okay.
I like that you moved into the flush median from the bottom of the road. When we were on Great South Road and there was a car coming and then you moved into the flush median. But then your turning speed was again a little bit slow.
Okay.
It's nice to be slow, but it was probably a little bit too slow.
Okay.
And then you probably accelerated a little bit too much once you've straightened up. So I wasn't sure whether you were going to go or whether you were going to stop. So accelerate to move in.
Okay.
And then perhaps maybe don't accelerate once you're in. Then you can start preparing for the merge. The change lanes were good. The lane merges were good. And then the lane split, we talked about.
This is where I indicate?
Yes. And check your blind spot. And we also talked about moving into the left lane by default if the lane splits into 2. And then the reverse to the left when we started was okay. And these are all the things that we've talked about already. So if this was the test today, there'd be a couple of critical errors there for not checking your blind spot, not indicating for when you cross the center line, and then the blind spots for not checking the blind spot going over the bike lane, flush median, the center line. A couple of critical errors for being too slow to take a gap when you had enough room to proceed at the roundabout. It was both 2 roundabouts. It was first, you know, early on in the test, and then now right towards the end when we were going, I think it was right towards the end, and we were going straight through the roundabout. We didn't have any oncoming vehicles. The oncoming vehicle was turning left. Yeah, and
okay, yeah.
we didn't need to give way to them. And then I failed to give way, but I intervened at the roundabout.
Yes,
there.
yeah.
I pressed the brake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not too bad. Of course, if you had more time to practice, then that would have been the recommendation. But now with your test on Wednesday,
yeah.
I suppose there's one of two things you can do. You can either delay the test,
yeah.
And I think you'd have to pay a $16. If it's within 2 days of the
Yeah.
test, you have to pay $16. And potentially, if you got on and you had a look, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but if you had a look now, maybe you might not have to pay a
Yeah.
reschedule cost. And if you did want to look at rescheduling,
Yeah.
then I'd say, you know, maybe give yourself another month
Okay.
to practice
Right.
and do lots of urban road
Yes,
driving
yeah.
versus motorway driving.
Yeah.
If that's all you've been doing, motorway driving,
Yeah.
then that'd be my recommendation.
Okay.
Or give it a go and see how you get on.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, so long as you're able to pick yourself up, you know, and use, you know, if it doesn't go well, then just use the learning for your next test.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. What do you think, Nishita? What do you think would be?
I think I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
think I might have to give it a little thought.
Yeah.
Because yeah, and also having this car is much nicer than our car.
Yes.
So if I just push on the accelerator like a little bit, it goes quite fast. I think that's where the speed control problems was.
Right.
Because in our car you have to brake quite harshly for it to actually work.
Yeah, this is the sporty model of
the Suzuki. So it's much smoother and nicer. So I think that's where the accelerations and everything was coming from.
Yeah, possibly. You will have a think about it and let me know what you decide to do.
Yeah.
I think anyway, potentially if you do even reschedule, you might end up looking at there might not be any slots any earlier than 4 weeks anyway.
Yeah.
So you could have an attempt at the test and just see how you got on.
Right. Yeah.
And just use any learnings towards, you know, the next test if things didn't go well, and if they went well, then great.
Yeah.
Then that's over and done with. But have a think about it. Let me know. I'll email you through the report.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, most welcome. I hope that was helpful. The other thing you could do is, I think your knowledge was quite good. I just think that maybe your practice, your experience, you probably didn't have enough hours in terms of the experience. But in terms of building the knowledge, I think it was quite good. But if you wanted to check out my driving instructor guides on the website, you could do that as well to the tests, and that spells out everything you need to know about how to pass the test. But you still need the experience.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Thank you so
Nishita,
much.
I'll end the video there, and we look forward to hearing back from you in terms of what you're going to do, and the best of luck for your test.
Thank you so much.
Most welcome. All right, then. Thank you everybody for watching. Please subscribe to the video, to the channel, and like the video, and we'll let you know how Nishita gets on with the test.